Now, boys and girls, today we celebrate a wonderful feast day in the church called the Epiphany. Who can tell me what the Epiphany means to you? What is an epiphany?
I don't know what an epiphany is, but I know that on Epiphany you take down your Christmas decorations.
You can do that if you want. Okay. What is an epiphany? Okay, Zach.
When the three wise men came to Jesus.
Yeah, the word epiphany itself is a fancy word from the Greek which means a showing or a manifestation or an appearance or making known. This is a feast in which Jesus is known to the outside world, to these wise men, we call them. They're called magi. And a magi was a caste of people in the empire of the Persians. They were, amongst other things, astronomers, astrologers, philosophers, poets, scientists, doctors. They were the wise men. The kings of Persia did nothing without consulting them first. And they follow what? To find Jesus. A new star. They saw a new star in the heaven. Now, they went and followed the star till it finally rested over the place where Jesus, Mary, and Joseph were. And then they gave the baby Jesus something, didn't they? They gave him what?
Gold and other stuff.
Yeah, what are the other stuff?
Frankincense and myrrh.
Right, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They gave something to the baby Jesus, to the person they thought was the King of Kings. Now, in the Persian Empire, boys and girls, King of Kings was the title for the King of Persia, the Persian Emperor. And they knew, though, that the real King of Kings was there in Bethlehem, and they followed the star to that. And they brought and gave these gifts. Now, when we pray, fortunately or unfortunately, most of the time we ask God for something, don't we? We ask for a gift, right? God, do something for us. But the Magi did just the opposite, didn't they? They brought gifts to the newborn king instead. And we're meant to bring gifts to the newborn king too. But what do you give to the Son of God? He's got everything. He owns the entire universe and everything. What can we do and bring gifts? Okay, shout it out. What do you think you can do?
Be nice.
Be nice. Okay. In fact, I was going to compress a little story that I told at the 5:30 Mass last night that might give you a hint of what you can do to bring a gift to the baby Jesus that's more precious than any gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And it's a story called The Other Magi, the Fourth Magi. Did you ever hear that story? Oh, good. Okay. The fourth Magi by the story was a fellow by the name of Artaban. And Artaban was the son of the head Magi in Persia. And his father wanted him to follow in his footsteps. But guess what? He didn't want to do that. He and three other Magi had noticed a new star in the heavens. And he wanted to follow that star with them to see where it led. His father said, "You can't go." And guess what he said? "No, Dad, I'm going." His father was brokenhearted. He took along with him some precious jewels like rubies and emeralds and pearls that he had, because he wanted to give this to that newborn king. So he set out, and he was supposed to meet the other three Magi at a gathering point. But on the way, he came across a dispute, and he settled the dispute for the people by giving away one of his precious jewels to take care of the problem. He went on his way, and when he got to the gathering spot, they weren't there. They had gone. To make a long story short, the entire trip following the star, he was always one step behind the other three Magi. When he got to Bethlehem, the Magi had already gone, and so had Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. So he started wandering around, and he finally made it to Egypt, because that's where the Holy Family fled, right? Guess what? The Magi was gone. The Holy Family was gone. He was very disappointed. So he started back to Persia, and on the way, he was accosted by a bunch of people living in the hill country, people who were outcast. They were living in the caves. And when he saw them and he saw how their plight was, he decided to stay with them. He thought, I'll help them out for a day or two. But one day led to 1 week, and 1 week led to 1 year, and 1 year led, guess what? To his entire life he spent with these people. And in the process, he used up all but one of his precious jewels, a pearl. Now, he had tried to cure a blind boy that was in that community, and he failed. As good a physician he was, he couldn't do it. But one day, the blind boy showed up, and guess what? The blind boy could see. And he said, how did you get your sight? And Zach, can you figure out just by what you know who probably gave him his sight back? Jesus did. And Artaban said to himself, I bet you that's the king I've been searching for my entire life. Now, he had a heart condition. He was old, but he got somebody to take him towards Jerusalem, and on the outskirts he ran into an old friend, and he saw that that old friend's daughter was being sold into slavery. So what do you think Artaban did? He gave up that pearl to ransom the girl. Now he had no precious jewels to give. And he arrived at Jerusalem on Good Friday, and they were crucifying the person he thought was the King of Kings. He was heartbroken. And then suddenly, guess what? He heard a voice. And it was the voice of Jesus, who said to him, Artaban, well done, my servant. What you did for the least of my brothers and sisters, you did for me. And he said, when did I do that, Lord? Well, when you gave food to the hungry, and drink to the thirsty, and you clothed the naked. Don't you understand? You did that to me, and for me. Suddenly a smile came on Artaban's face, and he turned to his companion and said, did you hear the voice? And guess what? The companion didn't hear the voice, but Artaban did. And he had a heart attack and died. But he died a happy man because he realized his life was not a failure after all. He had found the king all those years ago when he found those outcasts in the caves around Jerusalem. So what can we do? Can we be another Artaban? Arabella says, be kind to somebody. What else can you do? What other gift can you give to the king?
Pray.
You can pray. What else? What can you do? Shout it out.
Care.
You can care about people. How can you show you're caring for people?
Help others.
You can help others. How can you help others?
Giving something that they need.
Yeah, giving something that they need. We're doing the room in the inn now, right? And those people need clothes, and they need shoes, and they need backpacks, and all kinds of stuff, and they need food. We can do those kinds of things. And guess what? Those gifts that you do like that are more wonderful. They're greater than any gold or frankincense and myrrh. And that's what we need to take away from the Epiphany, that we are meant to be like those magi. We're meant to lead others to Jesus, and we're meant to act because Jesus gave us a registry, if you will. Just like when people get married, they say, go to Sears and get these things. Jesus told us what to do, and it's in Matthew chapter 25, chapter 25 of Matthew, to do those kinds of things. So boys and girls, have a wonderful day and a wonderful PRE.